Yes, Tom Bradby, well, yes, he's a man definitely in the know, isn't he? He's the man that had, well, Harry and Meghan in the palm of his hand. And now it looks like he's going to be an even bigger cheese, all thanks to a disaster that's unfolding over, some say, his company, ITV News. And these people too. Oh yes, the ubiquitous Good Morning Britain team. What's happening? Let me tell you. Morning, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as ever, nice to have your company. As a person who's worked in television for many, many years, the one thing that you fear in television, particularly breakfast television, and this is very well depicted in the Apple TV series by Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, The Morning Show. I can't begin to tell you how spot on they are with that whole writing team. Everything's about the show, everything's about whether you're in or you're out. And this can be all down to what they call the new editor. The editor comes in, he tells you he's loving everybody, and then behind the back plunges the knife in and brings his chums in, and then for that tenure, you have to put up with that, right? If you're lucky enough to stay, you see what I mean? But over at Good Morning Britain, they've really had a rough time, simply because Susanna Reid, who's on over £1 million a year, is also an executive editor of the show. That's very important, to have that, yes. Forget the £1 million, the executive editors, but lovely. But Susanna, alongside the former Labour MP, Ed Balls, have proven to be an absolute disaster. Ratings-wise, it's at its lowest level, advertising revenue is down, and people are shunning this rather dated format. And the sort of format I mean, chums, like what you've got is the voiceover man, and then, of course, he announced the people. And the thing I don't know about you that I hate when I'm watching news channels is the camera zooms in and they say IMEX and IMEX and you're what. We know what we're watching. And if we watched yesterday, we know who you are. How dumb do you need to be? Just put your name strap underneath. We don't need to be told as children. But this is where the mainstream media are failing every day. ITV need to make drastic cuts. So they're pondering the idea of teaming Good Morning Britain's editorial team with ITV News. And Tom Bradby, yes, the man who famously said to Meghan Markle, "Is everything okay? Oh, thank you for asking. Nobody's asked me that." He's the man that will be, well, allegedly putting all of this together. And because of his power within the ITV brand, will end up being fundamentally, some people suggest, the biggest cheese. So how does this pan out? Well, it pans out through job losses, cutbacks, splitting jobs, part-time work, selected hours. I know people who already work there who literally, let me tell you, have had their hours cut. Cameras are now being used as robotic cameras. They're getting away with people doing auto cue, stuff like that. It has to move on. It has to be profitable. That is a business. But you see, the bottom line is this. When you look at ITV, time and time again, they've got it so wrong, Good Morning Britain in particular, because consequently, not only have they taken the side, some suggest, of the wrong royals, right, but also having your presenter interview your Home Secretary, who just happen to be married to each other. Well, that turns off a huge swathe of potential audience. And so now, all of those people that thought it was so clever to have all that woke-artery on with all of the COVID stuff, well, now they're looking at their own demise and disaster. Because behind the scenes, sources tell me they are going to have to draw a huge, thick, red line through that massive wage bill over at ITV. Now, I don't envy them, and I'm not, it's an awful thing, but the bottom line is they are, again, the architects of their own disaster. The person that actually managed to get them high ratings, well, they dumped because they believed Meghan Markle instead of him. And consequently, they've now gone on to more independent, bigger and better things. But again, all of those layers of management inside those companies like ITV, like BBC and numerous others around the world, they still feel they know best. What the audience wants is clear, concise news telling with impartiality. And that's been in very short supply for both ITV News and, of course, Good Morning Britain. It's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.